What's up? Welcome back to my channel. All like what, 4 of you? Great, love that. Hi. I probably should like upload makeup content since that's what you guys are here for. But actually no. What the fuck am I even saying? No one's here, no one's watching this. So I can post whatever I want because I have no following. Anyways, so I thought it would be funny to do like a story time video, and this is a video that I've wanted to post, or not post, a video I've wanted to make for a long time because it's just like a hilarious story and I feel like the world needs to hear it. Obviously I'm going to like omit names of people involved because they're like not super well known, but like well known enough that I just don't really want to do that. Also, yeah, okay, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't want to name drop anybody. Not that it's really a big deal, and my close friends will know who I'm talking about, but it's just like, regardless of who it is, that's my point, regardless of who this involves, it's like funny. It's a funny fucking story, I think. But I was like wasted when it happened, so I don't know. I think it's funny and weird and also like kind of creepy. Like it kind of is like exposing, like not exposing, like it's not news already that the world doesn't know that like well-known guys, especially like fucking indie musicians, are creeps and like weirdos towards like drunk girls. Anyways, time and place, it was like October of 2018? October 2018? Like not this past October, but the one before that? Wait, no, this past October was October 2018. October 2017. Wow, okay, it was October 2017, Minneapolis, Minnesota, where I was living at the time. I lived there in this cute little duplex with my best friend. We've been best friends since we were like 8 years old. We had this cute little house together. That's not an important detail. So there is this musician coming to town who I have loved for like a really long time, and I've never been to one of his shows. Sorry, I'm getting texts. Okay. There's this musician coming to town who I was super excited to see, like really fucking excited. I love his music. He had just dropped a new album that I really liked. I was hyped. I was like, wow, I can't wait to go see this guy. Roll up to the show, and I just immediately start getting like, not whiskey shots, but like whiskey sodas or something like that. And I'm just like downing whiskeys left and right, like seeing a bunch of like my ex-boyfriend's friends. I had recently got out of a relationship, like a long one, and like a couple of months prior to the show, and it was like Minneapolis is like small and the hip kid scene there is toxic and disgusting, so everybody knows everybody, and a bunch of people were going to be at the show because it's like a really popular indie musician or whatever. So I'm like drunk with this guy that I'm in love with and his girlfriend and my best friend, and I'm seeing a bunch of my recent ex-boyfriend's friends, and I'm just like, it's awful. It's one of my first times going out in a while after getting out of that long relationship, and it's just like this whole thing, and I'm just like downing whiskeys left and right. The show was really fun. I was like outside for most of it, just like chain smoking cigarettes because I was drunk, and I run into this guy who is the bartender at my favorite bar, and he's like really involved in the music scene. And after the show's over, we're like hanging out with this bartender guy, and he is like friends with one of the guys that was backing up this musician like in his band. So he's friends with one of the guys that was playing basically. And so we're just like hanging out with us, and then like the musician that we went to see and the band after the venue had cleared out. And so we're at the venue still, and my bartender buddy is like, hey, like we're gonna get an Uber, go back to the bar that I work at, because in Minneapolis oftentimes like if a cool indie person was to like come to town, they would always go to this bar and like have a DJ set afterwards, like randomly, and people knew that. So like everyone else from the, like not everyone else, a lot of the people from the venue had already left to head to that bar in hopes to like catch these musicians there. And me and my best friend are like with the musician at the venue still, and my buddy, the bartender. And then he's like, okay, I'm calling us an Uber, like we're gonna head to the bar. And I'm like drunk and we're like, cool, this is awesome. Ah. My best friend doesn't know this musician, but like I love him, so I'm just like quietly fangirling, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is fucking crazy. I'm just like standing next to this fucking guy. So my bartender buddy calls the Uber. I get in the Uber and I like sit down with my best friend, and then fucking the main musician that I like went there to see opens the door, just slides in the Uber and sits right next to me, and I'm just like, I've had like probably 4 or 5 whiskeys at this point. I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like sitting next to this guy. This is fucking crazy. And he sits down. He's just like super weird, and like I'm like kind of making small talk, and he's just like obviously like fucked up, and he's just like being crazy in like a subtle sort of way. And he's like, sorry, I'm like so high on PCP right now. And I just look at my best friend and I'm just like, what is going on? Even like, this is fucking insane. And also there's this other like random like super fan of this guy in the Uber with us for some reason, and he had this like weird interaction with my best friend, and then he's also like chatting off the fucking musician's ear because he's like a super fan. So he's like literally in the trunk of the Uber because it was like an SUV and we didn't have extra seats for him, so he just crawled in the trunk. Random side note. So he's in the Uber too, talking off the ear of this musician's like I'm high on PCP, and we're just like, this is weird, but like I love your music and I don't know what's going on. We get to the bar, and the rest of the band members from this guy's band are like there already, and so we roll into the bar with this guy. I see some friends of mine, and another good friend of mine like knows the main musician, so like they're hanging out, and me and my best friend are like outside on the patio, and the other like members of his band are like talking to us, and we're like drunk, and like there were also maybe some drugs involved, so it's just like drunk, having a great time, whatever. These cool guys from LA are talking to us because like Minneapolis sucks and is boring, so like this is exciting for us. And keep drinking whiskeys. We're like wasted, but like somehow still coherent. And I forget how it even happened. The main musician at this point, like the rest of the story, he like dissipates. He ends up with my other good friend that I was saying knows him. He ends up at like their apartment and is like doing a bunch of drugs and like being crazy on the other side of town. And then the rest of the guys from the band like gathered like with like me and my roommate / best friend. And I don't remember exactly how we got back to our apartment. Like there was probably an Uber involved, I'm not totally sure, but like 2 of the guys from the band, the bass player and the drummer, like just decided that they loved my roommate and I, and we were like, my roommate and I were just like, yeah, we're gonna go home, like we're wasted. And they were like, oh cool, like we'll come with. And we were just like, whatever, cool. But like neither of them were very cute. We didn't have intentions of like hooking up with them or like going after them at all. And so we all like get in an Uber back to our apartment. We're like hanging out in the living room, I think maybe for a little bit, because at the time I had 2 Sphinx cats, like hairless cats, and people fucking loved those cats. Like people would come over to our house all the time just to see the cats. So I have these 2 Sphinx cats. The 2 band guys are like fawning over the Sphinx cats, and then I'm like, I'm wasted at this point, like barely can stand up, barely can talk. I'm like, I need to go to bed. Like I have to go to bed. And my best friend is like kind of similar, and I like, this is like the part of the night I don't fully remember, but I like somehow the drummer like followed my best friend into her room, and the bass player like follows me into my room. And there was like no like really like flirting or anything. It was just kind of like I think in their minds they were like, cool, I'm gonna take this one, you take that one. And it was like very like typical like predatory man type shit. So I'm like drunk trying, like, I turn off the lights. I'm just like, not even like any like sexy, nothing. I'm just like, I'm going to bed. So I like get under the covers, like turn off the lamp, and I'm like trying to like fake sleep in hopes that he'll like leave. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. If like I just go to sleep, like he's gonna leave my apartment, right? He didn't. One of my cats had come in the room with us, and he just like was like petting my cat in like the dark in silence while I was like fake asleep. And he sat there, I swear to God, for like 30 minutes, like 30 minutes while I'm just like fake sleeping, waiting for him to leave. And eventually I think he had to go like back to the tour bus so they could like go to the next city. They had to be back by like 4 in the morning or something like that. So he goes back to the tour bus, but like when he like decides he has to leave, he like comes over, like pushes me, like wakes me up, and he's like, hey, like I have to go, but like it was so nice hanging out with you. And I was just like, okay, bye. And then he like grabbed my face and like started making out with me, and I was just like, what? Like, I'm asleep, I'm drunk, like, well, I wasn't actually asleep, but I was like faking asleep. Like, why are you doing this? It was so fucking weird. And he left. And also for like the remainder of the time they were on tour, he was like texting me every day, and it was so strange. And to this day, he still follows me on Instagram. Don't get it. So weird. And then meanwhile, while that's happening in my room, my poor best friend is going through something even weirder with the drummer that followed her into her room. He was just like begging to hook up with her, like begging, and she was like, no, like I'm good, because these guys were like not cute and like kind of fucking weird. And he's like begging to hook up with her. He's specifically saying like, please let me eat your ass, like please let me eat your ass. And she's like, no, like what the fuck, no. And also this kid looked so young that she literally asked him like, how old are you? Because he literally looked like he was like 18, and he was like apparently like 24 or something. We were like 22 at the time. And eventually she was just like, you need to leave. But he was like, please let me eat your ass, like please let me eat your ass. Like, oh my God, so wild. So eventually they both left, and I don't think she ever heard from the drummer again. I heard from the bass player for like another month every day while they were on tour. And then they got back to LA. Never heard from him again. And he still follows me on Instagram. And this was like a year and a half ago or more. I can't do math, but October 2017. It was a while ago. Yeah. That's it. That's my story. Probably my funniest, like, famous person story that I have. And those guys weren't even that famous, so. Anyways, I'm gonna try to, like, maybe do more funny videos for my channel. I think that'd be, maybe if you guys like this, I don't know. I've got some other weird stories, nothing crazy. Like, this is probably the best one, but also I'm gonna try to maybe do some makeup content. Who knows? Anyways, if you made it to the end, you're a fucking trooper. Wow. All right. Bye, guys.